that they will have better chances of success. So that's the whole essence of networking when it comes to career. That's what whole essence of co-creation of ideas. So I'll just go through a few steps to guide the conversation. But I have made a career shift many times in my career. Not so many times, but many times. Okay, maybe 2, 3 times in my career where I had to move to focus on certain areas. Okay, those moves were strategic. I look back to that and I say they were strategic because I took certain steps before I took those changes. Okay, before I made those changes, it wasn't knee-jerk. It wasn't just waking up in the morning and just feeling like doing it. It's okay to do that, but remember that the reward runs on principles. Okay, and you have to align with the principles for you to make the best of the opportunities that you have. So if you look at this, create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you will gradually become what you constantly think about. Okay. The world is framed in so many ways. You realize, oh, you know someone, then you meet the person in 5 years and the person is completely different. And you're wondering what happened. Is it not the same person? Yes, it's the same person, but the person is now exposed to different things and have adopted different practices. Then the shaping and the orientations will change, and then the person's outcomes will change. Okay, the same way when you say the best way to describe madness is it madness or what now? That to continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. It doesn't work that way. Okay, it means that for us to generate a different kind of outcome, we have to change the input or change the process, because the world is in 3 stages. There's an input, there's a process, there's an output. You put the same thing, work with the same process, you're likely going to get the same outcome. Okay, but when you make changes in the input, make changes in the process engine, then the outcome may most likely be different. So create the highest level. And that is the one thing that you won't take away. One of our biggest problems is our background. One of our biggest problems is our circumstance. The biggest problem is what we have been told, what we have seen, what we have. So most times we build our own cages. Most times we cage the future based on the past. We use where we're coming from, what we have gone through, to limit where we can get to. And that's one of the biggest issues that everyone is battling with. For people that had opportunity to engage in different kind of conversations earlier in life, you see them getting different results. And so when you sit with someone and you ask, why are you not ambitious? Why are you not demanding more from yourself? Why are you not trying to get more out of life? Then you realize that this person is actually the best in his area, is the best in his background, is the guy that has gone furthest. You understand? So it means that the person is measuring success based on history. Okay, my father didn't have a car, I have a car. My father never lived in town, I live in town. Okay, my father, I'm the first person to go to university in my old community. I'm the first person to do you understand? So now success is being measured against the past, against historical events, instead of against the future. But in the same window, people that have half your capacity are doing far more. People that have half your capacity are doing far more. You know why? Because those people are measuring success against the future, not against the past. So you say, oh, I am a first class student, but I'm the first person to get to hit a first class grade in my entire community. Yes, but there are also people that didn't make first class and are doing much more. So that's the kind of orientation that we need to bear, to say, what more can I demand more from myself? The capacity I have, can it generate more outcome? Then what do I need to do to be able to generate more outcome? So a career shift occurs when you change direction. And so I'm also going to explain the difference between a job and a career. In my own understanding, sometimes we mix it. I always say, never you sacrifice your career for your job. Oh, you can always sacrifice your job for your career. I'm a cybersecurity practitioner. That's my career. I can work in this bank, work in that bank, work in this firm, work in a mosque, working in a church. That's my job. But my career is cybersecurity. Will I now get to a place and they say, oh, Harrison, the only remaining job is a driver? Will you want to be a driver? No, that's changing my career. That's not changing my job. That's changing my career. I say, no, I do not want to be a driver. I do not want to be this. I would just want to stay within my career zone. So always know when you're moving career and know when you're moving job and be intentional about it. So my question is always look beyond the present. Ask yourself, how does it align into the future that I'm seeing? And what future can I see for myself? And what is bounding those future? Is it my past? Is it my present? Is it my ambition? Is it my aspirations? And how am I aligning it with every other force that is around me? And the reality is that if you check, you find out that along the desert, workers are experiencing staggering rates of both disengagement and unhappiness. Actually, when you run a true survey, people say, no, I'm disengaged. I'm just doing this as a job. I am just working for the paycheck. I can't wait for the 8 hours to get over. Then you know that there's no fulfillment. Remember, there's also a role each person has to play. Because in the same career or job that one person is not fulfilled, another person is. So there's also an element of contribution from the staff. So now if you move forward. So when you say I want to do a career change, so some people will say, oh, should I go play football? Should I go try basketball? Should I go do something completely different from what I'm doing or what I have learned or what I've found myself doing? Yes, you can. But you have to ask questions and you need to take certain decisions. You need to be able to understand what are those parameters that will fuel the career that you need. There are some career where continuous reading and continuous learning is not required. It's not a fundamental requirement. There are also other career where everyday things are changing, so you need to be on top of your game. So also need to pay attention to yourself to say, am I a type A person? Am I a type B person? Am I a morning person? Am I an afternoon person? Am I a night person? What is it that are about me that I cannot immediately change? What is it that about me that I change? So that's where things like hobby comes in. That's what people like your nature, your type comes in. And which kind of career will perfectly fit my own kind of person. So those are the kind of some of the questions that you can continue to ask to know, oh, which career should, or what is again, what is success to me? In fact, one of the things I say is that, what is success to me? You need to first understand what success is and what success is to you, because what success may be different from what success is to you. That helps in shaping the kind of career. And also know that even in the career that sometimes we also have that mindset that, oh, if I'm in another career, then I'll be more successful. It's not true. Sometimes the career change is not running from responsibilities. It's not saying, oh, I'm failing in this career, so let me look for another career where I can succeed. No, it's also possible that your one is failing in this career because one is not doing enough. So if you go to another career and you don't do enough, you will still not be able to unplug all the potential fruit that you can get from it. So that's also very critical for us to understand. But yes, the shift and the change is different. I've spoken about job and career. Sometimes we think, oh, my job is my career. Yes, your job can be within your career zone. Sometimes your job can be outside your career zone. Someone says, oh, listen, I'm a musician. That's what I like doing. That's my career. But I find myself in cybersecurity. Okay, so that's the job I do today, but my career in music. So I want to save some money, then go into the career that I really want to go to develop in. So you also have that. Is it a job? Is it a career? But my principle is don't sacrifice a career for a job. It never pays. You will always end up regretting it. You will always. So just know that hey, this job is getting in the way of my career, so I need to quit. Then also, always also understand there are stages. So you want to do a career change. So the first is the ending stage, which is where you have shock, anger, denial, fear, sad. Okay. The ending, meaning that I want to end one career for another. I have seen people that, oh, I'm a database person, but I want to be an application developer. That's also change. Okay. Oh, I'm a lawyer, but I want to come into cybersecurity. I actually have people that reach out to me. Oh, I read agriculture, but I have flair for cybersecurity. Or I'm a lab scientist, but I have flair for cybersecurity. So I have developed a path that I will normally share with them and say, okay, go through this, then you come back and we can walk through it. Or I'm a salesperson. I'm doing well as a salesperson, but I keep getting fast. I'm fascinated about this cyber thing and I want to come into it. Then we build a career path and say, okay, let's go through this process. And maybe in 6 months or 1 year, we can review it again. So then there's the neutral zone. So the neutral zone, okay, I'm now transiting from one to another and I'm confused. I am disoriented, frustrated, skeptical, especially when you come into that environment and everything is Greek. Remember, you used to be an expert. Remember where you're coming from. You were seen as the go-to person, but you are now in a place where you're a greenhorn. Everything sounds strange. What are these people talking about? Then you're confused. What is this? Have I made the right decision? Am I in the right place? Can I escape this? Oh, what is this? They're now looking like a like a like a like a Johnny just come kind of person. Oh no, I shouldn't do this. Then you now go into new beginning where you are now excited, energized, committed, where you can begin to see the future that you really dream about. Then you begin to now become more forceful. I will say something here. Every professional you know, every athlete you know, every world record holder you know was once a greenhorn. Once a greenhorn, once a beginner, once someone that doesn't know left from right. Every one of them. But you will realize that they stayed, they paid the price, they did what needs to be done, then they became outstanding. And we will speak about a few points now. By the way, I look at the time I have. So strategies. So take a personal inventory. Decide if you want to change industries, brainstorm the careers, research potential job matches, make an action plan, consider educational resources and development, use your network. Let me say something. This is not running away from toxic work environments. Sometimes we also think that job change and career change is to run away from a toxic manager, a toxic work environment. No, that's not the same. That's not the same. If you have a toxic work environment, if you have a toxic manager, there's a different way to deal with it. It's not to live there, to sacrifice your dream and your career just because you have someone that seems not to understand or support your growth. So that's different. So to make a career change is something you need to have a conversation with yourself. Take yourself out, sit by yourself, demand, order some food you like in an environment you like, and have a conversation with yourself. Then sometimes the question is, when should I make this change? When? Sometimes the answer is the earlier the better. Okay. You make the change when you're 20, you make the change the earlier the better. But if every other thing is in line except time, make it anytime. Okay. There are common signs that you need to look out for. Okay. So if I'm 40 and I want to go and play football, will it be right timing? No, unless if I'm just playing at the back of my house or I don't want to be a professional. So there are jobs that are time sensitive or age sensitive. You do not want to go into those jobs unless you're going in as a part of a crew or a coach or something like that. But if to be an active player, there are certain jobs that are age sensitive. But there are so many other things you can do that are not age sensitive. There are so many other things that are knowledge sensitive. Okay, so you build the knowledge and the practice and the capabilities, then you can excel in those areas. So then what are the things to put into consideration? You need to identify areas of growth for growth and learn new skills. So if I say, okay, I want to be a cook, I want to be an international cook today, what do? I need to first find what an international cook means. I need to find if there are JDs for international cooks to see a checklist of capabilities that are required. I have to build those capabilities and then begin to work, match it against my own strengths and my capabilities. Okay. Then I'll identify the gaps and begin to work on closing those gaps. Those are straightforward things that we must do. I want to be a GRC consultant. I want to be a HR consultant. Just go pull out CVs. I want 10 CVs from different geographies, UK, US, Canada, Asia. Pull out CVs from different, put them into a catalog of checklists. Pick them off against your own skills. Move the skill set to the right. Put beginning, advanced, and expert. Match it. Look at those skills that are must have, okay? And those ones that are advantages. Put them on the right and tick them off. Ask yourself, how do I fill these gaps? The truth is, if you do this, you will be 1% that will do it, because it's something that most people do. Research all the career options. Take courses to get qualifications. Some you may need for on the job. So I tell people, listen, everywhere you work is a university. Everywhere you work is a university. You may be in HR. If you get close to your IT people, if you go close to FinCon people and the finance team, if you get close to the credit risk management, you may actually have the opportunity to learn other things outside your core work in any organization by just getting close to people, by just asking the right question, by just showing interest, by just volunteering to join a project team or an exercise team, a compliance team, or go to green kind of function, a cross-functional team. You pick up the knowledge. Because why? You have done an assessment and you know I need this knowledge. Okay, I need to understand why we hire human capital development. So I need to get close to my HR so I can be ticking off. Yes, now that I know this, now I'm a beginner here. Now I'm at advanced stage, then I need to get an expert. I always say in 2-3 years, you can become anything you want to become today. Then work with a mentor. And I always say get different mentors for different things. Don't put all your burden on one mentor. Find different mentors for different career paths, okay, because it helps. Start small and then focus on networking. And also there's also the lateral movement career, and where you say, oh, I'm doing vertical movement and I'm doing lateral movement. That's also there. I can move across laterally in my organization. I want to do database security using cybersecurity, for example, or let me use HR, for example. I want to do hiring. For example, I want to do compensation, okay? I want to do human capital development. I want to do conflict management. Do you understand? Those are all skill areas within the HR. So I want to go laterally, join the team, do 6 months or 1 year, so I can get the breadth of experience. Then I want to start going up. That's when I now do vertical. So I want to become the team lead. I want to become the super team lead, the HR partner, and things like that. So yes, you can also move naturally or vertically in your career. Will this come without challenges? No, sir, it will not. No, it will not. It will come with challenges. Some of those challenges are imposter syndrome. You know that comment you ask yourself, what am I doing here? What exactly is happening? How can I live? I mean, you see, when people change location, for example, you're a king where you are, then you leave your kingdom, then you're no longer a king. Do you understand? So you need to now build a new kingdom where you can also become a king. So that's what it is. So people suffer from that fear of the unknown. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't scale it? What if? But again, here you only need to put the benefits. Also understand that you need to just get one thing right. Okay, and the whole story will change. Also know that things mature with time. Then lack of clarity. Do I really understand what I need? This movement I'm making, do I know? Will I succeed? What are the chances? So clarity is also, fear of failure also is there. What if I fail? Timing challenge. We've discussed that. Resistance to change. Also know that there's something called resistance to change. And everyone have a measure of it. So don't wish it away. Don't think you will embrace change without resistance from yourself. You will resist change. You will. And that resistance will impede the progress. So scale gap is also, then I've discussed on what you can do around scale gap. Just take CVs. There are CVs everywhere. Pick up CVs, build a checklist, match yourself against it, put it in beginner, non-existing, beginner, advanced, and expert. You will see where you are. So you can measure yourself against the capabilities that are required across different geographies. Okay. Then financial pressure is also there. Financial pressure is in 2 ways, or financial insecurity. Okay. It could be the finance to continue to support your cost of living. You have a family, people still need to go to school while you're doing a career change, because sometimes you do a career change and you need to go through the process again, and it's 6 to 1 year or even 2 years to be able to bounce back up. Okay, so in that time, how do I continue to support my family, my obligations, my aspirations, and all that? There's also the finance on supporting the new aspiration. So I want to start a new business. I need to chase a new career. Where will I get money to write certifications? So things like that come. And I say, one of the things you can do is to look at your budget. Instead of doing it in 6 months, can I do it in 2 years? Where I can at least be able to save more. The truth remains that once you make the decision, nature has a way of bringing the resources that you need, or bringing the network that you need. For example, some of the things you're planning to spend money on, if you get into the right network, people can offer it to you for free. So that's one of the ways to manage the financial pressure. Lack of confidence is also there. Do I really know what to do? Can I go through this? Can I become good again? And in this case, one of the things you can do is to look at where you're coming from, those things you have done, those big things you have done, those rock you have moved, and tell yourself, if I move this, I can move that. Okay, whatever happens, I will succeed. If some people say, listen, I am traveling, I am relocating, I will succeed there, even if I'm the only one that will succeed. Then you say, yes, there's some measure of confidence. Direction is also key. I don't have direction. I need somebody to handhold me. And this problem happens more when people even do a vertical career change. So they move from a team member to a team lead, and they don't understand that they are no longer the person to take direction. They are not the person to give direction. So I see that happen also when someone doesn't know. He say, oh, I don't know that I'm the one now. You know how we say the uncle you talked about that was not giving you money. You are now that uncle, and other people are talking about you, and you're also not giving. So it's that. So you get to that level when you now say, oh, I am now actually the one in charge. So the time for blame game is over. I need to man up and do things differently. Comfort zone is also very key. Sometimes people suffer in careers, not because it's pain, not because of their fulfilling, but because it's comfortable. You know, they know me, you know, I understand my job, I can do it even while my eyes are closed and all that, okay? So they'll keep at the job until they'll get wind out, okay? Negative self-talk is also a major issue. How do you speak to yourself? I always say, listen, there are 2 moments in a day that you must not miss. When you wake up and before you go to bed, speak to yourself. Speak to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, once you come into cognition that you are awake, speak to yourself. Besides prayer, in addition to prayers, speak to yourself. Let yourself know that today is going to be a good day. You will go through this day strong and you will succeed. Come back in the night, tell yourself, yeah, I didn't go out the way I wanted, but tomorrow is another opportunity. Okay? Speak well of yourself. Praise yourself where you can. Blame yourself where you need to. Challenge yourself where you need to. But you must have a conversation with yourself. That conversation is very important. Okay? Family obligations, we've spoken about it when we talk about finance and other things also. So, but also that family obligation, I don't have time. I can't get myself out of this. I am chained by obligations. So I'm not able to do anything now. Okay, so you also need to manage that. Lack of network or inadequate network is key. What are the kind of network you have? What are the kind of people you spend your time with? It's also very important, because when you want to make certain career change, you must change the people first. He said, okay, so they say before you make the change the people. He said you have to make the change in the people before you use the people to make the change. So that's also very important. That's also very, very important. So change the people before you use the people to make the change. So that's key. So look at your network. Who do I need to be with? I want to be in this area. So you need to begin to intentionally build a network in the area of your interest. So you want football, you need to go to where the people you want to be like are. So it becomes natural for you. Perceived ageism is also key. What do I do? I'm old now. What can I do? How can I start masters at 60? What will I do with it? But the truth is, people have done it and those people are happier. So do it for just the sake of doing it. Limited job market is also key. There are 4 million jobs. There are no people, there's no job everywhere. 500 million people are looking for job. What would I do? Let me hold the one I'm holding very. Yes, hold the one you have very well, but build for the next. In one of the things I learned earlier is that always be ready to play the role of your line manager at every point in time, which means your productivity must be at the level of the person you're reporting to, at a minimum. At a minimum, so that if the person decides to leave, they don't start looking for another person. They say, oh, you are ready. You actually have been playing this role. Or work to the level of the person you want to be. If you start developing that capability, people say, oh, where do you find time to do all this? I say, yes, because they consider them important. Whatever you consider important, you will find the time to do it. If you don't consider it important, you'll find the reason not to do it. That's how it works most times. There are pros and cons, clear path. I'll share this so that we can pick some of these things up, because I want to also give back some time so you can discuss more opportunities. So I'm talking about vertical career and lateral career. There are benefits, pros and cons also here and there. Then maximizing your choosing path is very key. Be adaptable. Be adaptable. Focus only on the big goal, on the big picture. They have this fox and the hedgehog. Let the day-to-day change, but it's just like I tell people, listen, when you live, for people that are in Lagos, when you leave Lagos Island, okay, and you're going to your house in, let's say, the Ikeja, you can change the direction, but you can't change your destination. You can decide to go to Ikorodu, go to Terminal Bridge, go through that bridge, go through that road, but your final destination remains. So why we make change, so be adaptable, why you make changes on the way, the end is the way you must focus your eyes on. Okay, then know your environment is very key. They say know your neighbor, know your partner, know your customer, know your environment, understand the kind of environment in. In fact, this environment is very interesting because I said, listen, know when to leave where you are staying and go and stay in another place that is uncomfortable. Sometimes when we live in a certain area, we used to the area, the market is here, I know this Baba, I know this person, so I want to stay in this area. But that people in that area are not giving you the kind of push that you need. So yes, in some cases, you need to change an environment. Move to where it is not comfortable, move to people where you can be closer to the kind of aspirations that you have. And you can apply the shift model, specify the desired outcome, highlight the obstacles and categorize them, identify the human factor, find alternatives, take disciplined action. All talk without action remains talks. So we're wrapping up now. So in conclusion, setting yourself for professional success is more complex than picking a growth style and letting things play out. It's far more. But if you continue to listen and adapt and inculcate the right practices, chances are that you will be far better, even find a far better fulfilling career than the person that is just waking up and sleeping and just going by the day. When you inject ideas, things change. I said I will share, I think this should be my end here. So just to wrap up, I did say I had done a career changes sometimes. So I started as a network engineer. I've gone into sales executive, sales in what they call pre-sales engineer, come back to IT security. So one day I was now saying, oh, let me even look into the future. Let me find out what is happening. Then I did a small research. So what are the important jobs of the future? I mean, the big jobs of the future. And I saw 5. I can't remember what the 3 were, but I know project management and security was there. So I focused on 2 of them. Went to school, did masters in project management, and have done so many projects across Africa at least, and some outside Africa. Okay, and the next one is security, and I paid attention to say, no, I'm going to develop a lot of capacity in this area. If I do that research today, I won't find project management because that has been commoditized. Okay, security will still be there, but you may find something like data sciences, you may find something like artificial intelligence, emerging technologies, modern capabilities, this programming, that programming. So you need to sometimes ask yourself, what is the future hold? What does the future hold? And continue to align your skill, your capabilities, and your interest along that path. So that's what I will stop for now. But again, let me say that if you ask the right questions and take the right actions, the chances are you will get the right outcome. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Please, can we give a virtual clap for this serious? In fact, this is more than nuggets. This is like a lot of wisdom. GCSO was just dishing out a lot of wisdom. He said, always be what? Have you found a mentor? So there are so many nuggets, and we're open for question and answer. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. You can see the love, we can see the claps going up, going up. This is like a lot. This is priceless. So the question and answer time is open up for us to ask Dr. Harrison questions. A lot has been said. He said, have you found a mentor? Are you in the line of a career change or a job change? So please, let's keep the questions coming in. Let's keep the questions coming in so that he can answer. And anyone who actually wants to maybe unmute and ask a question directly to him can do that. We want it to be as engaging and as interactive as possible. So let's keep the questions coming in. You can make use of the question and answer chat room. So GC, we would just ask a question. When you found out about the careers of the future and you took steps to, get into the line of vision that you had, you mentioned something about the imposter syndrome, but what I want to ask is, was there a fear factor? Did you have any fear factor that you may have possessed the capacity or may not possess the capacity to be able to actually, perform in that role, knowing that you're a high performer? I think people would like to know, because a lot of people, what they are faced with now is fear factor.
Okay, so let me share more in that. Okay, so I have done certain things that took 11 years to become valuable. Okay, and I'll tell you what it means. In 2019, 2018, CBN brought out the cyber risk framework and required that banks should have CISOs. So they listed 3 certifications that needs to be a requirement, okay, for a CISO. One of them is CISM, one of them is CISO by EC Council, then one of them is CISSP by ISC Square, ISC Square 2, okay, Square, right? So 2 of those certifications I had 11 years before that day. One of them I had 4 years, 3 or 4 years before that day, okay? So the conversation around fear is really, I say the point is this: you need to, there's something I learned earlier in my career, and that is, if I have 2 options, and I take the second option, and I find out the second option is not the best option, it does not automatically make the first option better. Okay? It does not. It may mean that you may not even be alive if you had taken the first option. So what you then do is that you need to read as much as you can, ask as many questions as you can, take a decision, and know it may or it may not work. Yes, preparing for failure is one of the biggest skills you can have. So prepare that something you're investing in will not work. Do you understand? So you move on and do other things. You see, there's this success entitlement that we have. People come to me, just hold on, please. Just hold on. I have a So there's this entitlement we have that, oh, if I do this, I must succeed. People come to me and ask me, for example, hey, Harrison, what is this that I do now that I can show of success, that I'll become this, I'll become. I say, it doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't. you need to do what you need. See, it's like sowing, it's like farming, right? So you go put the rice seed in the ground, do the nourishment, put the fertilizer, do everything. Some will grow, some will not grow. So yours is to do the part, do your own part, but prepare for failure, prepare for delays, prepare for disappointment. These are all part of it. Do you understand? So the fear of the failure, fear of failure is there, but see, you need to prepare. That's not everything you do will bring the fruit that you desire. Some will fall by the side, actually. But what you should focus on, you know, when I describe about going home and there's traffic on the way, you focus on going home. There's traffic, you can navigate the path or stay in the traffic, but you need to get home. You may take other decisions, but you need to get home. So that's the point. There's no entitlement to success. Okay, if I have done this, then I have to. If I had gone to Harvard, then I have to be a rich person. It's not true. There are so many people that went to Harvard that are not rich. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to your aspirations. Know that it's not everything you have done or are doing will work. But also know that if you continue to build on principles, if you continue to align yourself with what has worked for many, the chances that you are going to be part of that many, that's what is there. But if you have fear issue, please, there are so many ways to deal with fear. Fear is one of the things that have been well studied. Okay, go to Sarah Circle. There is also Sarah Circle, okay, that you can go learn about. So it helps you deal with fear, okay? But fear should not stop you from attempting, and embrace it, and just understand it's just part of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, GC. So we have a hand up. Mercy Frank, you want to ask a question? Please go ahead and ask before. Okay, go ahead and ask, please. You can unmute or
Sorry.
all right.
Hi. Some technical glitches. I was looking for the unmute button. I didn't see it because okay. Thank you so much. I mean, I am so glad. I am so happy that I joined this conversation. I almost did not because I was doing something. Thank you, Mr. Harrison Emeka. I mean, this is eye-opening. So, two questions. In this era of tech brew, you have to go learn either artificial intelligence or cybersecurity or coding, all this, how do some of us who want to stay where we are at without being that technical leverage or learn this technical stuff so we don't end up being redundant in the next few years, or having the younger generation who really know this so-called tech skills take the job out of our hands? That's one. Two, for people, okay, this is me. Sometimes when it comes to life decisions, it is very tough for me to make a decision. Sounds like tautology. And that has stopped me from getting so many things that I should have gotten because I know I have the capability. What would you tell someone like me to help them with good decision making skills? Thank you.
Answer the first one, then I'll come to the second one. So the first one is, how do I make sure that I keep improving myself so that I stay relevant with my own job? Okay. One of those things that I would say is this: you do know today, there's nothing you want to learn that you cannot learn. There are actually teachers on either TikTok, YouTube, that their work is to provide to create lessons, okay? And those lessons, you go and learn those lessons, and YouTube will pay them through views. So it is free for you, but someone else is paying because they use your views to pay them, okay? If you embrace YouTube and a number of other learning, and you say you commit 10 hours every month, every week, or you commit 5 hours every week, okay? you will be one of the 1%, okay, that will be far experience in that area. And remember what I talked about looking at JDs, job descriptions. Just take your job, for example. Create, I always prefer you pick it from different geographies, okay? Pick it from Americas, pick it from Europe, pick from Africa, pick from different areas, put them and say, because each job description describes the requirement for a job. You will see the requirements, okay? Match it against your skills. You will see the difference, okay? Check those differences against whether you have it at all, whether you are the beginner, whether you are advanced, whether you are expert, okay? You will see the gap. And with that gap, then you can start working on filling. So do you understand? So that's part of what. So if artificial intelligence is beginning to become important in your work, create lessons for artificial intelligence. Check if there are small short courses you can do. Check if there are YouTube videos you can watch. Take notes, and before you know it, you become a master. That's true. I have seen it happen many times. So many times that I can now tell you without even thinking about it that it will happen. Okay, that's one way you can deal with that. And sometimes it's also good to take what I call supporting capabilities. Okay, for example, if you're a manager and you're a store manager, for example, if you take a managerial class, you may actually be, but you actually manage better. Okay, so you can take some supporting courses to continue to improve. Some other thing is also get involved in your job. Start asking for start asking for more challenges or more roles. Okay, get involved in cross-functional projects. Request that you'll be added to a project, even if that project has nothing to do with you. Okay, that way you continue to improve your market value, or what I call organizational value. That's one of the things you can do. And in terms of making a decision, so one of the things you can do, make a simple decision. So today, there's something you like. Ask yourself to stop it. You like wearing this, stop it. Just tell yourself, I want to stop this. Do you understand? That's one of the ways. So you say, oh, I like, what will I say now? Okay, I like so and so food. I want to stop it. I want to stop eating the food. What do you think will happen? Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Well, I like going to this place every day. No, I won't go in the next 6 months. What will happen? Nothing. You will get more time and you will do more things. So when it comes to decision, know that not deciding is also a decision. Also know that delay is also a decision. So fear is there, and that fear can come from comfort, it can come from consequences, it can come from cost, it can come from some of the things we've agreed. But again, it's also good to know what is driving that fear. Ask yourself, so when I am afraid, what is driving that fear? Is it knowledge, fear of the unknown? Is it finance? Is it security? There must be something driving the fear. Once you identify the 5 things that are driving those fears, you almost have done with dealing with it. Not knowing at all or not having a hold on it is actually the bigger problem. So you need to ask yourself, what is driving that fear? Is it the comfort that you're getting? Then you can help you to make a decision. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Doctor. We are so glad to have you. In fact, let me say, when we say he has global influence and highly in-depth knowledge of so many areas. We agree with that. We agree with that. So another virtual clap for Dr. Harrison. We are really, really grateful. And sir, please, would like you to, I know you have some other things to do, but would like you to please just stay on the call for a bit and support us. And he has promised to share his slides. His slides are always golden. So he has promised to share the slides, and we'll communicate the slides to everyone. I'm very sure it's going to help us as we continue to make these mind-changing decisions and actioning it towards a positive career shift or job change. Thank you very much, Doctor, once again. We're highly grateful from the back end. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and wishing everyone the very best. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So I'm going to be introducing the our second guest speaker. We just heard from the keynote speaker, Dr. Harrison Naji. I'm going to be introducing the our guest speaker. Hello, ma'am. Can you confirm if you're on the call?
Who is this, me, Felicia?
Yes, please. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to read the bio of Felicia Lekan Salami. We have we have a lot of global speakers here on the call, and I would ensure employers to please not leave. Let us just stay and get all of this wisdom. So introducing our special guest, who is no other than Felicia Lekan Salami. She is a Big Four trained agile transformational multidisciplinary strategic global business advisory leader with expertise in board advisory, impact investing, corporate governance, equity, sustainability, people projects, and process management. She's experienced in working across borders from North Africa, Europe, Middle East, Asia, Africa, in both Fortune 500 and SMEs, in both public and the private sector. She's actually connecting with us across, the Pacific. She's actually not in Nigeria. She's speaking with us, and that also speaks to her profile, where she lives and she works. So Felicia Salami is also the founder of Milton Group, a health and wellness snacking company all the way in Canada. She has a BSc in Natural Science and Mathematics, an executive MBA in Management and Strategy with multi-industry certifications and a solid background in environmental, social, and on environmental social governance, ESG, and EDI. She is passionate about creating an inclusive and diverse culture that fosters transformation, innovation, development, and is also committed to helping boards navigate these complex challenges. She's a firm believer in the power of AI and the ethical use of the technology to improve and transform the way value is created and how decisions are made. Felicia Lekan Salami also enjoys mentoring emerging leaders, advocating for diversity, inclusion, and giving back to the society. She firmly believes in the power of collaboration and the potential of individuals to shape a better future. Like she always says, the future of work is human, and empowered people make all the difference. Let's welcome our guest speaker with our virtual clap.
Thank you so much, Hilda. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone that joined the call today. Do you see my slides and can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes, your slides are showing.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to share today. When Hilda connected with me and mentioned that this was a faith-based empowerment series, I was really excited because then I went to my Bible to get some wisdom on strategies for career shift. So today I'm going to be sharing a few nuggets and key points, and I'm hoping that you would be able to take away value and ask questions at the end. Sorry, I have a cold, so my voice might come across a bit muffled. But I'm going to start with the 3 A's, and I call them the 3 buckets as you think of strategies for shifting careers. And I think, like the previous speaker mentioned, it does not necessarily always have to be a vertical shift. It could be a lateral shift. So any type of movement. 3 things that I want you to put at the back of your mind as we go through the slides is assess, advocate, and action. And these are all things that you would have to implement as you navigate shifting career, whether it be lateral or vertical. So, I mean, as we embark on this journey, I call it of faith-driven transformation. We open our hearts to God's guidance, and I've seen that work for me. And I think when I was chatting with Hilda as well, she mentioned how at various points God had dropped things in her hands and in her heart that kind of like crafted the path that she took to where she is today in cybersecurity. And I've also seen that in my life. And the Bible verse that I want to link this to is that God already knows and has a plan for us, and that plan is good. So we have to keep that at the back of our minds, because He says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper and not to harm you, and plans to give you hope and a future." So just wanted to use that as a context to say, go for it. Go for that change. Change is the only constant thing in life. Go for that change does not mean that, oh, if you're doing well where you are, you should go and start looking for change. It just means that wherever you are, grow yourself. Grow yourself. It can be in your current role, or it can be in a new role that you aspire for, or you find yourself in. So that's background. So there are a few steps that I wanted to touch on. And the first one is the plan. And the plan is where you discover your divine purpose, through prayer and through reflection. And I put prayer first. Does not mean that everything is hinged on prayer, but prayer is the foundation. And the reflection is where it's the first part of that bucket, which is the assess. Is where you reflect and assess to say, where am I today and where do I want to be tomorrow? And what's the gap between A and B, and how do I get there? I mean, they always say that those who don't plan to fail, right? So this is why we have to plan in our even in our careers. And as part of that reflection and even just seeking divine guidance through prayer is understanding where our passion meets the world's need and what feeds our energy. Everybody is different. I'm different from Hilda. Hilda is different from the next person. And so we need to, in that space of reflection, understand what truly is our passion. And how does that, address or attend to the needs of the world? And I tell you that there's magic in that, because if you go and you speak to people who today we will label as successful or enjoying what they do, there's an element of what I just said there, is that they enjoy what they are doing because they found a way to connect their passion to a need in the world. And the Bible verse that I am connecting to this is, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. So that goes back to, you can't do this on your own. You need the guidance of God, even as you walk through the plan. And the next point that I'm going to touch on is, I think Mr. Harrison mentioned this, identifying your talent and your skills. And in that place of reflection that we just spoke about, that's where you enumerate, what really are my talents and my skills? What am I great at? What am I good in? If you're thinking of vertical or lateral moves, you potentially have transferable skills. There's some skills that are generic to any type of move, but you want to be able to identify those things. What are my soft skills? Am I a great communicator? Do I plan well? Do some things come to me naturally? And how can they play into my next move or my next role? So unearthing your talents that God has already bestowed upon you. Everybody has talents and skills. Sometimes we overlook it. I think it was Hilda that mentioned the imposter syndrome. Sometimes we just feel like, oh, some people, have very negative self-talk and think, oh, what do I even know? What can I even do? I don't have any skills. But there's nobody on this earth that doesn't have at least one skill and talent. It's just, the question is, have you found it, or have you searched for it? And sometimes even the skills and talents that we're talking about, you might not see it, but people around you would see it. So how connected are you to the bosses and the peers and the family and the friends that you have, to be able to embrace the strengths that they see in you, and for you to be able to, expand in those areas. And the two Bible verses that I want us to ponder on, I will share the slides with Hilda so that in your private time you can go and gain insights, and maybe God will reveal things to you as well. The first is 1 Peter 4:10, and it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful steward of God's grace in its various formats. And so what does that tell us? It tells us that we all have a gift. Are we using the gift? That's a question that we need to regularly ask. Sometimes we're operating in our gifts, and then we get so comfortable, and then we don't improve those gifts, or we don't find out the other gifts that we might have. So this is a continual process of discovering ourselves, via our talents and our skills. And the other Bible verse will be Proverbs 22:29, which says, do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. And what does that mean? It means that the only choice we have is to grow and to improve. And it's a choice that you make. And Mr. Harrison mentioned that as well. We need to be intentional about how we're developing ourselves and how we're investing in ourselves. God can give us access to insight, but it's not going to come down to do the work. So let's remember that we have a part to play in shifting careers or growing in general. And the third point will be on navigation. So navigating through your career or through your life's journey, what role does faith have to play? We already mentioned this earlier when we talked about the talents that God has bestowed on us, but I want you to think of your GPS. We all have familiar with Google and GPS technology, and how in your car, if you are going to Lekki and you're at Yaba, you potentially need to know which road to go, where to turn left, where to take the roundabout. If there's traffic, how do I divert? What are the alternative routes? And so I think in our life's journey and career as well, the GPS, which is the power that we have in God to establish our ways, is also essential. And I don't know if it was Hilda that was mentioning it earlier, or Mr. Harrison earlier, about how, as part of navigation, they try to find out what's the next top careers that are coming up, and see where their interests aligns with that. So that's where you identify that I'm going to Lekki. Okay, I identified that I want to go into cybersecurity or project management, but now I am in finance, or I'm in banking, or I'm in admin. So now I'm in Yaba. So how do I get to Lekki? So that also goes back to that first point that we mentioned on planning. So this is where you start penciling down where you are and where you want to go to. And that's filling that gap is what then gets you there, or at least helps you identify what you need to get there as a start. And so that takes us to the fourth point, which is setting goals. I always say that a bird without wings cannot fly. So it's the same way, a person without goals will not go anywhere. So we have to craft goals that not only advance our career, but also aligns with our purpose. And so I'm going back to where we started from. That purpose is critical. Understanding what your passions are and how that is linked to God's purpose for you is an exercise that we should all do. I know that, people go through life without stopping to even have this thought. I've seen people that are 60 or 70 and they still don't understand what their purpose is. Everybody's purpose is different, but it just doesn't drop in your laps. It's something that you need to be intentional about. And an easy exercise to do that is, in your own private place, close your eyes and think about um, it's people gathered in a church or in a building, and there's a casket in front of the room, and there's someone there. And by the time you walk to that casket from the door of the building, you realize that the person there is you, And in that room are your friends, your family, your peers, your bosses, everyone that you've interacted with, who are going to be saying stuff. Can you envision what they will be saying? And can you envision what you would like them to say? So the difference between what they will be saying and what you would like them to say tells you what goals you need to set now that you are alive, not when you are past, right? And so that's where the power of setting goals is. But the good news is that, as Proverbs 4:25 says, let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. So when you do this exercise and you're comfortable in your purpose, you will be also comfortable in continually advancing and progressing because you're looking ahead always. So this is a very important point, setting goals. And the fifth point will be on networking. And I think Mr. Harrison mentioned this as well. They always say that a tree cannot make a forest. And I think there's an African proverb as well that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with people. So there's power in networking. I am a testament to that fact. A lot of things, of opportunities that I've been able to optimize or catch on, has all been related to networking in one way or the other. So we all need to find a way to leverage the strength of community and the support around us. And mentorship, Mr. Harrison mentioned that, mentorship to find guidance and opportunities in our career shift. We have to be intentional about it. Where are you going? Who are the people that are already there? Are you connected to them? If you're not, how can you be connected to them? What's your network looking like on LinkedIn? How many career events linked to where you are and where you want to go to do you attend every year? What who are the people around you that can mentor you? Like Mr. Harrison mentioned as well, you don't have to have a mentor for just one thing. There's mentors for professional, for personal, for spiritual, or even for that career that you want to shift into if you don't have the experience already. Have you identified those people? Have you been intentional about finding how to connect to them? Are you bringing and creating value for them as well as you are wanting to draw from them? So these are not all things that happen just like that. You have to be extremely intentional about this. And the Bible verse that I'm linking to this is Proverbs 27:27, where it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens the other. So even the Bible tells us that we need everybody around us. You might want to go into cybersecurity, but you don't know anything about cybersecurity. But you know Hilda, who is in cybersecurity, and you can ask her for guidance on how she started, for example. Or today you are a biochemist, but you wanted to become a doctor. You can have an uncle that he's a doctor who's specializing in a particular area, who can tell you all the various areas that you can specialize in. And then you can go back and map, where do my strengths lie? Can I be a cardiologist or a nephrologist or a gynecologist, depending on what my aspirations and desires are? And so that's the power of connecting with people for creating value for them and also for yourself. And I move on to the next point, where I'm going to talk about develop and grow. So, like I said, we're all born, we come with nothing, we leave with nothing. When we're born, we have innate skills and talents that God has given us. But then we also have a place to sharpen those skills, or even to identify, there's some things that you're born with, there's some things that you learn. Even the things that you're born with, if you don't use it and you don't sharpen them, they become dull, right? So we have to love to learn. embrace a lifelong learning attitude as a pathway to equip yourself. Don't wait for people, search it out. I always say that the day you stop learning, you start dying. And if you remember that, it will keep you on your toes to ensure that the better version of yourself is your goal always, so that tomorrow you are better than you are today at all times. And the Bible verse that I found connected to this is 2 Timothy 2:15, that says, "Do your best to present yourself as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth is the one that will win at the end of the day." So let's remember this, that, presenting yourself approved can mean, in a particular field, can mean getting that certification, identifying what that certification is. Is it Scrum Master? Is it PMP? Is it change management certification? Is it cyber security certification that will get you approved in that field? If you just look at it and talk about it and don't take action to equip yourself to take the exams and pass the exams, then you're not certified in that field. Then you would struggle behind someone who has invested in themselves to get approved, right? So it's very important to have this learning mindset and this growth mindset. It's essential to shifting careers or to moving or advancing in any way. And then second to the last, I will talk about resilience. So some things are easier said than done. I want to get this certification. I want to do this master's. It's easy, but it's easy to say it, but there might be challenges. You might not have the funding. You might not have the motivation. You might not have the energy. People might be frustrating your life. You might be frustrating your own life as well. So just knowing that nothing good comes easy. At the end of the day, we all have to work for what we desire. And in that, we need to understand that we need to be resilient. We will face challenges, but it's with courage and perseverance and strength that we can continually uplift ourselves through every step. And my favorite verse for this is Philippians 4:13. This is my mom's verse to my son. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which means that it doesn't matter what will come our way. We have the capacity and the ability, if we're willing and committed, to thrive. You see, the picture here shows that tree in all of those rocks. It still grew and it still has leaves. So nothing is impossible if you put your mind to it. And finally, all said and done, we can know all these things. If we don't take action, nothing will happen, right? So take action is that last key or nugget. Begin your journey with strategic planning. Plan for the changes that you want to see, but take actionable steps, and above all, entrust your path, your life's journey, your career to God's faithful hands. And Joshua 1:9, tells us that we should be strong and courageous, and, we will overcome. So in conclusion, I would like to say that as we embark on our career shift or journey with faith and hope, leveraging the support from God and from men. So there are tools around us, there are resources around us, in people, in knowledge that we can seek, in networks that we can access, that will make the difference for us. And Romans 15:13 says that. And I want to leave you with that prayer, that may the God of hope fill you with joy, peace, and good success as you trust him on your life's journey and through your career. I just want to end by saying that I thank you for attending this call today and for choosing from today to be the best version of yourself. And 3 quotes that I will leave you with is that every next level of your life will demand a different you. Understand that every next level, if you want to keep growing, it's going to have to be version 1, 2, 3, 4, because you have to get better and better and better. It doesn't stop until we go to meet our creator, right? And also, I think it was Shonda Rhimes that said that you can waste your life drawing lines or you can live your life crossing them. It's your choice. So you can just be marking time, like they say, and be drawing lines. Okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, but never do it. So the power is in your hands, and God is at your back, backing you to push you to cross those lines. And George Eliot is the final one. It says, it's never too late to be who you might have been. So don't say, if I can, if only I could have had that MBA, or if only I, had money to do the PMP, oh, if only I knew someone who knew something about cybersecurity. Don't make your story an if only, because there's always a way out, So really, that's where I want to end today. And I thank you, Hilda, for inviting me to speak. I'm open to questions that I can share, from my experience, or even just in general.
Thank you very much. This is so power packed. Is there every version of you would demand, every stage of your life would demand a different version of you. I am so grateful. Let's keep the claps coming up, because there's like so much wisdom here. Just like I mentioned earlier, that spiritual intelligence, you need it to guide, we need that guide. And you have said so much, and saying that that the change, you need to be, if you want to go far in life, you need to go with people. And that is why I know a lot of people are uncomfortable, like, I'm okay, I don't want anybody to know that I'm I'm looking for this XYZ, but with all of this wisdom and these nuggets, I am very sure that we are comfortable, we are challenged enough to make that life-changing decision. And it is never too late for us to become that version that God actually wants us to be. So let's keep the questions coming in. This is a faith-based and a professional setup. So I can see if you can keep our virtual hands on, so that's up, so that we can sequence the Q&A. I know we have a lot of questions to be asked. We can please put our virtual hands on, and do not be shy, because we have our global leader here who has worked all around the world. You can ask your questions, worked in different fields, and let me just crack a joke. When I was in the university, my course advisor used to tease us to say, oh, those people in actuarial science, he used to call them mortuary science. But here she is, and she has done so much, and that shows that there's nothing challenging that we cannot become or overcome if we just take the right steps. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Felicia Lekon Salami. Do we have any questions for our special guest speaker? Let us not be shy. Let us not be shy. Mentioned you can find different mentors too for different areas. She's very established. She's an established leader in ESG, EDI. She's a board member, board advisory, top Fortune 500 companies. So all those professional questions, let us keep it coming in, so that we can ask and be satisfied. We can also drop the questions in the chat room. In case we don't want to put up our virtual hands and speak, we can drop the questions in the chat room. So I know that we had a talk, and when I told you the inkling of how I also pivoted or had a career shift, you gave me some very practical example of how. So I want to use your area of strength now, which is also diversity, inclusion, and sustainability, and the rest. 20 years ago, nobody was talking about that. So I'd like you to also give us a practical example so the house can learn and be able to relate with how this spiritual intelligence and physical intelligence and everything works together to take you to where you need to be that version of who you really need to be. So if you don't mind, Ma.
Yeah, sure. As you mentioned, I did actuarial science in school, so I'm an actuary, but I never practiced. I never practiced being an actuary. So I started off my career in consulting, and somehow ended up in business intelligence, and then stumbled on equity, diversity, and inclusion. And that story just goes to tell that it doesn't matter what you've done as your BSc or your background, everything still counts. So today I leverage my actuarial background that has given me the strength to be very strategic and forward thinking and analytic. And I've used it in other areas that are not necessarily where a traditional actuary will be, like with an investment bank or an insurance company helping with projections. But it has helped me. And along that journey of even just going and diverting into other things, how did I get into EDI? It was the power of mentorship, because I had a mentor who was the chief diversity officer of the company that I worked with, and she was also the vice chair of the company globally. And she just seen in me the passion for people and helping teams thrive, culturally diverse thinking that brought people together and brought a diversity of ideas together to drive innovation. And she pushed and nudged me to say, launch this in Africa and in the Middle East, where I was based at the time, because she knew that I could do it. And remember when I was sharing on one of the slides, I talked about tap into the people around you. Some people can see strengths that even you as an individual has not seen, or you have seen and you are downplaying, right? So this was the power of that mentor, to have seen that strength in me and see where it's taking me today, because I would never have known about EDI. This was way close to 17 years ago. And at the time we launched it in Africa and in Asia, it wasn't a thing there. Even in America, where it was, there were very few companies that were in that space, my company being one of them at the time. But today it's an area that is very important to where we are with all the hate that the world is throwing around, right? And it's a very crucial and integral part of every organization that wants to continue to grow with the power of people that they need to pay attention to. So two things I just wanted to say there is that it doesn't matter what you've done. It's all part of the puzzle of your own career path or your own life. And also there is power in connecting with people, find a mentor in the various areas that you want to grow in. And mentoring, a lot of people think mentoring is just about somebody helping you navigate. It's there's something called reverse mentoring. So as you are taking from people, you also want to be giving to others, or even to that same person, right? So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Hilda. I think there's an Onye that was raising her hands as well. So Onye can unmute and ask a question.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you so much for this session. The first one you talked about, you said the plan, discovering your divine purpose through prayer and reflection on where your passion meets the world's needs. I'm going to take myself for example. I studied education,
Yeah.
but I'm on the path of changing career. And there are some times when I've reflected on myself, trying to what are the things that I didn't know? What are the things that I'm really good at? And it boils down to what Dr. Harrison said, when you start becoming bored with what you are doing, it's actually a nudge into changing a career from what he said. So if you can't get that, when you reflect, and there are times I had to ask my siblings, what are the things that I really good at? And I was surprised at what they were saying. So my question is, how do I start building on that and then identify a career that I'm supposed to follow, and also look out for the needs, the need that a place in the world, a need in the world.
Hmm.
How do I build on it? Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I wanted to say, don't feel alone or like it's only you that is going through that. Everybody at some point or the other has been at that point. And I think you're doing the right things, which is tapping into the network around you and the people around you to also will help you highlight areas that you might have overlooked. So as people have told you all those strengths, write them down, right? That's in write them down in a book. You know, it can be 10, it can be 20. And as you are reflecting, and going through all of them one by one, start ranking them in order of priority of what feeds your energy. And what do I mean by what feeds your energy? What lights you up out of those 20? What's the top five that, you know that even if you are sleeping and they wake you up, you will do this so easily. You know that you have a strong passion to help people in this particular space. So those 20 will not take the same position. If you do a good job at listing and sincerely reflecting and prioritizing, you would see a top five rise up. Out of that top five, you want to, then go and rescreen it again and say, okay, I can't do five things. Which is the one thing that um, I will do that will make the difference that I want to make in life? Do you get what I mean? And make that your first one. I think it's Brian Tracy that does this exercise where he talks about goal setting. And he says that, you can set 10 goals, but can you do 10 goals at a time? No. So he always tells people, write the 10 goals down. And then as you go through them and you know where you want to go, say which is the one of all these 10 goals that will get me fastest to where I want to go. Focus on that first. When you finish achieving that, go back to that list and reprioritize another one to be one until you have finished the 10. But what that has done is that it's giving you the power of focus. And where people, and this happens to all of us, right? Where people get diverted or distracted is that they're trying to do 10 things at the same time. So I guess my message to you is, or my exercise for you when you leave this call is, all those things that people told you, write it down. All the strengths that you know you have, write it down. Where you feel like you have the highest energy, pick it out. Do you have the skills to, excel in that space? Maybe not. So what are the things that you need to do to equip yourself to grow or develop in that area? Find them out. When you find them out, which of it is within your reach, whether it be your financial resources or the connections that you have, start with that. Because if you don't start with that, you will give the excuse that it's because I don't have the money, that's why I didn't do it. So find the thing. Maybe it's going online to find free courses on Udemy, or connecting with people that don't mind to mentor you in that space, and sacrifice 1 hour a month to chat with you or give you directions. There's always a way out, is the message that I'm making. And you have to be laser focused on growing, and then it will happen. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think there was one other
Wow.
person that raised their hand.
I'm trying to search for the person.
Yeah,
Please, if you have your hands up, you can go ahead and speak, please.
and if there are no other questions, you can always share my email or contact, and people can contact me later. That's fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Felicia Lekon Salami. My big auntie, I want to say, in fact, you've dropped so much wisdom, and like you've said, we can share your email, of course, in our area to this is the control their network. So we'll share your email with them. And like she said, I read during her bio that she's passionate about, about supporting the next leaders, about emerging leaders. So what it means is that you can be a leader in one area. You're already a leader as a person, but then you're shifting your career and you still need mentorship. Please, I would share her email with you so that you can reach out to her. She's a global personality, worked everywhere. So she's a wealth of knowledge. So thank you very much. So another virtual clap, and then we have to give her a flower. She's done so much. She's done so much, and thank you for the sacrifice and coming on the call. Thank you very much.
God bless you all. I really appreciate the time. I think it was Chima that raised the hand. Is it Chima or Chima? I can't really see. My screen is a bit blurred.
Okay. Mr. Chima, if your hands are up, you can speak, please. Okay,
You know,
Blossom Chima. Yeah.
I think it's my daughter that raised her hand.
Ah, okay. Okay. Thanks, Hilda.
Okay.
Yeah, that was your
All right. All right. Thank you, and have a lovely evening.
You too.
Okay. So all right, thank you very much, ma'am. So we're going to the third, which will be our last speaker, where she's not going to take time. We're just trying as much as possible to wrap up, to keep to our time, which is 5 to 7. So I'll be introducing Ugochi Chikere, who is the VP People for Board Pay, which is a financial, which is a fintech, that's a technology industry. We are in the banking. I'm in the banking industry, but she's in the fintech space, and she's the VP of People. So Ugochi Chikere, if you can hear me, you can turn on your camera and take us through your speech. You're welcome to the call. Please, I'll employ all of us to please not leave. Maybe in another 10 minutes we'll be wrapping up. Thank you very much. You have the floor, Ugochi.
Hi, good evening, everybody, or good day. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. So we're going to be talking about, navigating career change. And I think the past speakers have talked a lot about it, but I want to drop a few more points to that. First of all, we need to ask career change. That's when you're transitioning from one type of job or one type of profession to another profession. And before most time people consider career change maybe because they want to pursue new opportunities, or maybe they're just seeking greater job satisfaction. And before you go on this journey, there are two things I find are very important for career success, which is continuous learning and building adaptability. Adaptability in terms of career change. Career means being flexible, being open to change, staying resilient, and whatever is going on in the ever-changing job markets. And continuous learning is being committed to your own growth. So when you build your adaptability and when you immerse yourself in continuous learning, you're able to navigate unexpected changes, you're able to embrace opportunities and all of that. So the first things first, when you start a career change, you need to understand the job market. You need to understand the current job market. You need to explore what's trending. You need to see what skills are increasingly valuable. The job market is always changing due to maybe economy, technological advancements, maybe even consumer preferences as well. So you have to research these trends, identify what skills that people are searching for these days, identify the job requirements that most people are interested in, the preferred qualifications, the skills that people are searching for. You also need to consider the industry demographics. That's you can also check out your location, gender representation. What's in this type of this job requirement. Are they searching for more males? Are they searching for more females? You also need to consider age range, and then seek mentorship as well. Now, after exploring all these job opportunities, then you assess your skills. You do like a self-assessment where you try to identify what strengths you have. You try to identify what abilities you have, which can be transferred to other roles. You can take like self-assessment questionnaires, and like Felicia mentioned, you can even get feedback from your colleagues, from your friends. These are people who know you. They're able to, help you uncover hidden talents that you didn't know you had. And then you do like a skills mapping. This is where you map the skills that are being required in the job markets to the ones you have, and identify where your own skills can align with these job requirements. you're able to figure out how to leverage your strengths on these job requirements. And then when you do this, you start to develop yourself. You take courses, you do certifications, you take workshops, and try to improve yourself. You seek mentorship opportunities who can give you directions on what to do and how to develop yourself on these careers. And then you start to build your brand. Your personal brand is how you differentiate yourself from the competitive markets. It's how you present yourself to the world. You need to discover how to showcase this unique talent of yours. You need to discover how to communicate your personal brand in a way that reflects who you are and what you can bring to the table. So you can do this through your CVs, you can do this through your LinkedIn profile, you can do this through your professional interactions. Let's start talking about your resumes first. When creating an impactful resume, you need to have like clear structure. You need to tailor your content. You need to tailor your content in a way that highlights the relevant experience or skill that you're trying to move to. It's not when you have a CV and then maybe you're trying to shift from career A to B, and then the first look at your CV, the recruiter is confused, like, okay, which one is this person doing? And when you're talking about your achievements as well, you need to quantify your achievements. When we're recruiting, I'm an HR expert, and I do a lot of recruitment as well. When we are looking at your accomplishments, we want to see numbers. We want to see, percentages. We want to see like measurable outcomes. We need to be able to, measure your impacts in your former places of work. It's not I can do this. You need to say, oh, okay, when I was working with so ABC, I was able to, my sales margin moved from, 10% to 60%, stuff like that. And then if you're putting a summary to your profile, you need to highlight your unique strengths. So when someone takes a look at your resume, at first glance, they're able to tell, okay, this is where this person is heading to, and this is what this person is all about, and that maintain consistency across all platforms. It's not on your resume is saying, let's say you're trying to get into a career in, let's say, sales. When we're looking at your CV, is reading sales. When we check out your LinkedIn profile, is reading maybe product management. Then maybe when we see you, when we see there'll be professional gatherings which you attend, you're talking about something else, maybe you're not discussing customer service. So it gives a confusing persona. So you need to tailor all platforms where you're exposing where your brand is visible. They need to communicate the same authenticity. Then networking, like they also mentioned, networking is very important. Networking is about developing and maintaining relationships with people, so you can exchange maybe information, advices, opportunities, and it helps you expand your professional circle. It helps you to be able to leverage on these connections which you make to open you up to new opportunities. Networking is also very good in terms of long-term growth. It helps you learn from different perspectives. And I'm going to use myself as an example. I read microbiology in school, and I actually started out my career. I joined the brewing industry, where making beer and all of that. And even though I was thriving in that environment, I kind of did like a self-assessment, of myself, and I discovered that okay, I possess like strong interpersonal skills. I have a knack for solving problems. I realized that I have a genuine interest in people development. So I explored the job market and tried to find out, these skills which I have, where do they align in the emerging trends? How can I profit from this? How can I profit from these skills which I've discovered that I have now? How do I use it to my advantage? And that was when I made the decision to pivot to HR. So I started to build my brand in human resources. I started to sort out certifications. I started to seek out training opportunities. I started to, trying to develop the necessary skills that I need and expertise that I need. I also start mentorship with people in the industry as well, gaining their insights, getting their guidance. And then where networking played a very crucial role in my journey is that I was able to leverage on one of my connections to land me my first learning opportunity, my first learning job opportunity. And then through hard work, through commitment, through continuous learning, I was able to transition into HR and, not only finding success, but also finding fulfillment. So we can't, even when learning is also a lifelong journey, even when you're successfully migrated to that career which you like, you also need to stay ahead of the curve. The job market is an ever-changing one. To future-proof yourself, you need to be able to seek up skill opportunities. You need to take advantage of online learning platforms like Felicity mentioned, like the Udemy. There are free online learning platforms. There are paid ones, webinars as well. You need to take industry certifications, workshops, develop yourself professionally, and then immerse yourself in a circle that can help you grow. There you can, like webinars like this, there are also professional gatherings which you can join. And by the time you expand your circle, you can leverage on advices from these people, and they open you up to new opportunities. And if you ask, in total conclusion, everybody's career, it's a dynamic journey. It's a dynamic journey that is filled with possibilities. And when you embrace change and you seek every learning opportunity, you're able to cultivate like a personal brand that represents the best of who you are. So I think that's it for me. And if you have any questions, I'm trying not to take a lot of time. Harrison and Felicity have said most of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Oyinye Francis and is up. Oyinye, you can speak, please. Let's give her a virtual clap. She has said so much practicality, talking from the perspective, of HR recruiter, experts, globally, recruiting globally, not just from Nigeria, recruiting all over the world, seeing different perspectives. So, Oyinye, you can ask your question, please. And Faisayo's hand is up. Oyinye first before Faisayo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Please, I'd like you to elaborate more on building adaptability that you spoke on. You said continuous learning, we have to take advantage of courses, workshops, and conferences. The building adaptability, I didn't get that one.
Okay, so adaptability is when you're able to adjust to new conditions or situations effectively. Now, in terms of career, it means being able to be open to change, navigate. Sometimes something's happen along your career path, and maybe it could be setback, it could be rejections. When you've built adaptability, you're able to navigate these changes. You're also able to equip yourself with a mindset that will always come out stronger. Continuous learning as well. It's latest industry trends. That way, you know what market demands are, what the market demands. You expand your knowledge base, and then you're able to embrace different opportunities across roles. You're not limited to one role. Continuous learning exposes you to different industries and experiences, broadening your horizon in total. So I didn't quite catch the last question you asked.
Explain it. This was on building adaptability.
Yes. So yeah, that's it. So it helps you be able to navigate on changes. You're able to bounce back from setbacks or rejection.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I think someone else had their hands up. Or they put it, maybe the question on here asked, okay. So I would like to, let's say like make a comment and, I know when, some people will say they're ready to change, they feel it, they know they're supposed to do it. They haven't taken action. But, I know someone who wanted to change their career, and they had no existing CV. They had no existing CV, even though they had taken courses and the rest. And okay, so so the person had to create a CV, share the CV, and there were certain kind of parameters that the CV had that in modern times CVs are not supposed to have. So your own kind of company now, where their culture and everything is, really modern, really fast, very fast moving and the rest. So what kind of criteria do you look out for in a CV? Just like you have mentioned, I know you mentioned some points around.
and all of that. So a recruiter should be able to look at your CV and at first glance is able to, tell, because they are going through we are sitting through a lot of CVs. And at first glance, they should be able to grab, a general idea of your experiences. And when you're applying to different jobs, you should also tailor your resume with relevant experiences and achievements that align with that job requirements. This also helps to increase your chances of standing out to recruiters. And like I also mentioned earlier, you need to quantify your achievements. Recruiters, we want to see measurable outcomes, to demonstrate the impact of your work. And even little things as small as consistent formatting. I mean, they also come into play as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So I know that I've seen a lot of content, and realistically, I would like to also probably tell the house some kind of information that should not be on your CV when seeking for job change, because like you said, they keep the recruiters are focusing on your achievements, although they have their own criteria too for their job. But things like your age should not be on the CV. Your physical location, like you said, the LinkedIn profile, your persona, your personal branding, because that's also they seek information from there before even speaking to the to the candidate. Things such as probably some form of experiences that are no longer relevant to that job function that you used to have. You can filter it out of your CV. Biases such as probably your religion, your location. Like now we're on this platform, there's diversity and inclusion here. Do you understand? So putting your religion sometimes might just be a turn off. Meanwhile, they are not focusing because of some other criteria that can create bias, right? They would not now pay attention to the key skills set that you have that is going to actually add value to that function. Correct me, Ugochi, if I'm wrong. I believe those are some. I believe those are some areas too that are being looked into. So I really want to just say thank you very much, Ugochi, for that aspect from the HR consultant, and so that everyone here looking to shift careers would know the natural nuggets, will also be equipped with the power of the truth of what is relevant. You understand that recruiters are looking for, and it will help you navigate that shift. So thank you very much, Ugochi, for joining the call. If we have any other further questions, I would just want to drop in knowledge, using my spiritual intelligence as inspired by the Holy Spirit. I know the Holy Spirit said to me that people are going to go into mobile security. So mobile security already exists, but it was fully highlighted. So perhaps Perhaps you're wondering, oh, I haven't taken this self-assessment, used reverse self-assessment as well. Other people telling you what they feel you might be good at and the rest. You might just find out to highlight, to check to say, okay, maybe this mobile security to might be for me. Maybe you've never heard the word before. Do you understand? You can actually look into it. And then there are also areas where, like I mentioned earlier, artificial intelligence, it is humans that do this. It is humans that create those technology that makes it work. You have the power to do that as well. There's also hospitality intelligence. There are a lot of different areas. Research for careers of the future. Let it align with your destiny and your purpose, not just because everybody is facing direction A, you too want to face direction A. You need to do your own soul searching. Do you understand? You need to have that direction from God. Our guest speaker already said it. I know God already creates a path. You have to search it out. You have to seek it out. Dr. Harrison also mentioned it. When you seek it out and you find out that, okay, yes, there are so many things that you can do around career shift. And I just want to congratulate everyone here, because like I said earlier at the call, I said anyone who is here, what that means is that life itself is demanding a change from you. And that change is also going to be positive. And one of our cardinal points here is to empower our community with the truth, you understand, that will enable them to become change agents globally. You are not restricted, do you understand, to this your current location. You can work anywhere in the world. You can work, you can have that desired job, just taking all these prescribed steps that have been given by all our experts. I know that this is a professional setting in terms of the career webinar, but I just perceive in my spirit that some people might have some prayer points. You can drop it on the call, maybe regarding maybe you've been seeking God for that job change. Do you understand? You're tired of where you are, or you know that life is demanding a different version of you, and you don't just know, how to go about it. But you have been given all the power, you've been given all the knowledge here. You can drop it, and we in the ministry, do you understand, we can pray along with you to just help you guys, because the truth is that everything around life must give you satisfaction, because your career is where you spend most of your time. You can imagine going to the office, you spend from sometimes 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is taking a chunk of your 24 hours. So you can imagine if you're not well positioned in the right career. So you need to be in the right career path so you can be a happy person. Your family can be happy, your community can be happy. You can have that long lasting longevity, you understand, in life. And you look back and you say, oh, I found fulfillment. Ugochi said, oh, she found fulfillment. So, and our guest speaker said, some people even at 60, they are still looking for fulfillment. So you on the call will find fulfillment, not discarding any of your experiences, but taking the relevant part of it and navigating to the next area. So I just want to say a closing prayer to end the call, to say, thank you, everyone. Lord Jesus, thank you for everyone that is on this call. They are your children, and I know that they are all special to you. I commit their careers, their family, everywhere they are connecting from, I cover them with the blood of Jesus. I pray that you give them the insights that they need to navigate this career shift, because you told me that you're shifting people's career. So people are going to have to be shifted from their comfort, from their comfort zone, and they've been empowered with all the truth. I pray that you will guide, you send your angels to guide them and help them. Thank you very much. So I would say, Adetaya, do you have a word? Do you have a word for participants? Just so I'm not the only one on the back end. I have my colleague here with me, Adetaya. So if she's able to speak, she can just also drop a word before we
Thank you
officially
very
close
much,
the session.
Hilda. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm actually in transit, but this session has been really impactful. Thank you all for joining.
Can you
And
hear Tayo? I actually cannot
thank
hear
you,
her.
Hilda.
Yes,
Yeah, we
now.
can hear her. Hida, we can hear her.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's from my end then. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So is she
So
done
I'm just
speaking,
appreciating
or is
everyone
she still
for
speaking?
joining.
I think I'm having a network lag.
Hilda, let you know when she's done.
Okay.
Tayo, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. It's really been an insightful session. It's like a webinar like no other. We started with God and then we've ended with God, hoping that all the tips that we have learned here, we're not just going to just sit on it. We're going to take necessary actions, and by God's grace, we'll definitely have the career that we dream of, the career that God has indeed purpose for each and every one of us. So I just want to wish everyone a wonderful evening, and thank you again for joining.
Okay, Hilda. Tayo is done. I guess there's a localized communication glitch between both of you. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much. So thank you very much, Mr. Chima, who is my direct report. Madam Kemi, everyone on the call. I have my colleagues, I have my friends, this is a huge community. I have my the biological family, and I also have the community of the Women's Paradise Conference. And I want to thank everyone for connecting. I would say that this is the maiden edition of the career shift webinar. I'm sure in the future we'll be having career fairs where companies will be coming to search for the best of talents, because people are going to have, be empowered with the right information. They are going to be empowered with intelligent information so that you continue to remain relevant. And just to remind us that where you are now, there is how you can harness that skill. I've seen legal people, transcend to data privacy. There's privacy is a huge, talk now in the world. I've seen people in legal, when you start seeing jobs regarding to data privacy, they say, oh, they want someone with a legal background. So you can enhance that skill that you have. For us here in cybersecurity, there's cloud security. What you might know traditionally in cybersecurity, you need to enhance it with cloud security. There's been shifts from just advertising to influencing. They've been shift from just customer service to customer success. So there's a lot of shifts. So please harness all the information. And in the world, there's a lot of information overload. But here on this platform, you can hear from Dr. and all our guest speakers. All we have dished out is the truth that will give you divine direction. So I would say that the session has officially come to an end now. Thank you all for joining, and have a wonderful weekend. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.